Hi, Kadena Tate here from KadinaTate.com. Today I want to have a quick conversation with you about mindset mastery and how to shift from the traumatic things that have happened to you in your life into a place of love, truth, and well-being. So what I'd really like you to do is to look within and get really honest with yourself about the thoughts that you're thinking that are holding you back. One of the number one things that I can tell you that was holding me back were thoughts that I wasn't good enough. I had heavy duty perfectionist energy. And if you know anything about perfectionism, it keeps you really locked into a belief that you cannot be, do, or have enough, that you are inadequate or unworthy or undeserving in some area. And so if you suffer from perfectionism, what I would encourage you to do instead is to look within and see that you are indeed worthy and deserving of perfect health, lavish wealth, loving, harmonious relationships, and the freedom of creative self-expression. One of the things that I want you to do is to ask yourself, what are the traumatic experiences that you've had? I want you to draw 3 columns on a sheet of paper. In column number 1, you're going to title it traumatic event or experience. Column number 2, you're going to write the word into, I-N-T-O. And column number 3, you're going to write self-care, loving kindness. Okay? So in column number 1, I'm going to give you a couple of examples to help you move forward through this exercise, because I really want you to move away from fear-based thoughts such as lack, limitation, debt, disease, anxiety, and more into a love-based thought, okay, which are peace, harmony, wealth, abundance, prosperity, health, joy, passion, creativity, etc. Okay, so in column number 1, under the traumatic event, you may write down something like people pleasing. Maybe you found yourself in the past giving more than you're comfortable giving, saying yes when you really want to say no, or going along to get along. You would write one of those items down in the first column. And what we want to do is we want to shift out of that and into a higher truth, so to speak. So in the second column, you would write into, and in the third column, you would write self-satisfaction or self-care or honoring myself or living my intention. So what that means is, if you find yourself, for example, saying yes when you really want to say no, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Am I doing this because I'm afraid of voicing and standing in my full power and telling the truth? Am I doing this because I want the person to believe something about me, such as that I'm not greedy, selfish, I'm a helper? First of all, people are always going to have opinions of you that are not your own opinions. Just because you don't do what other people want you to do does not mean that you're a selfish person. So if you really don't want to do something, just say no, that won't work for me. If you meet a client that you really don't want to work with, honor yourself and say no, I'd rather turn you down now than let you down later. Because what I can tell you is that when you go along to get along, then you actually place yourself into a living hell. So give yourself permission to come out of that, okay? So maybe in column 1, you have difficulty making choices. Maybe you find that you're an indecisive person. So what you want to do is you want to shift out of a state of indecisiveness and into a state of really honoring your own heart with ease and joy. What do you want to do? So for example, obviously there are times in relationships where compromise is required. However, we're not talking about basic decisions like where do you want to go eat. Okay, we're talking about major decisions such as what type of house we should buy, or perhaps inside of your business, maybe it's a decision about a very expensive program or product that you're looking at purchasing so that you can grow your business. In these areas, you really want to make your decisions from a heart choice and not from some type of outside control or manipulation. Now, how do you know if something is coming from outside of you? Well, in my opinion, the number one way to know is if you find yourself using the words should, could, or need to. Should is a duty outside, right? You should do something means that there's a duty or obligation that's coming from outside of yourself. You need to do something, once again, that's coming from somewhere else. And you have to do something that's someone else's projection onto you. So really ask yourself, are these things that must be done, right, because they need to be done? Or are you really looking at something that came from outside of you? And then a third example is if you find yourself riddled with low self-concept or low self-esteem, some feeling, if you will, that you're unworthy or undeserving. One of my favorite quotes is, when you believe in your dreams, they may come true, and when you believe in yourself, they will come true. So it's really about recognizing that you are a divine and sacred being, that you are loved, loving, and lovable, excuse me. And so I really want you to walk in confident self-awareness. So you're going to shift out of some low type of thinking about yourself and into higher levels of self-confidence and self-care. So what I can tell you is that if you give yourself permission to actually do this exercise, you can shift away from core negative beliefs into new and positive beliefs about yourself that will actually help you ascend and achieve the goals that you have in mind. So that's all that I have for you today. I wish you every success. Feel free to visit me at KadinaTate.com. I wish you every success. Thank you.